1934, the worst dust storm hit New York, Chicago, and Boston. States like Oklahoma, Texas, Kansas, and Colorado were once the richest soil ever found in the United States, but it was plowed up and used by four generations of farmers, which left the good soil found 6 feet under dry by the intense sun. Rain stopped appearing and left the dry soil particles blown by the heavy winds. This created static electricity against the ground, building huge dust storms that left terror in mid-south and up north on the states. The brown plague, dust ammonia, was finally introduced as an illness during the dust storm. The majority of the people began to catch this plague and start dying or having to move away from their homes. Some farmers were forced to leave their homes and settle down with a new life somewhere else. The loss of their crops were drastic. This left them without 1 cent in their pocket and made their situation more in distress for the reason of the Great Depression America was facing.
This program contains rare films of World War II originally shot in color, found during a 2-year worldwide search. Much of it has never been seen on television before. These films are presented now in high definition. Some images are graphic in nature, and viewer discretion is advised.
In the Pacific, in mortal combat against a fanatic foe, the Kamikaze Corps, the Japanese pilots who rode the divine wind to certain suicide and possible devastation of our ship.
The greatest generation would imply, to my mind, people who really were involved and knew what was at stake. And I think the majority of the greatest generation didn't have a notion of what was at stake. When I had this young boy, a boy from Mississippi, a farm boy, he was in that foxhole next to me. And out of nowhere, through the mist, came a bullet that hit him right in the head. And there was a kid who didn't know anything. He'd never been away from that farm in Mississippi. He didn't know where he was, what he did, why he was there. Was he a part of the greatest generation? Yes. There was nothing great about him. Just a young boy who lost his life. I arrived in New York in May of 1939.
I was an American lover from the word go. The first thing I do is change my name from Hans Warner to Jack Warner. Already, I feel more like an American.
It is May 1939, and 19-year-old immigrant Jack Warner is setting out on a drive across the country to Hollywood, California, where he hopes to break into the movie business. His home country of Austria has embraced Nazi extremism. Now he's fled to America to begin a new life.
2 homers in a row. Effort.
It's a wonderful trip. Everyone here is so kind and generous. No one even asks me about what is happening in Europe, even after they hear my accent. I suppose they don't want to be impolite. They don't understand how lucky they are not having to look over their shoulder. I suppose if it doesn't happen in your own backyard, you don't know much about it. I can't blame them. Europe seems so far away. I remember when I was in Austria. It was just after Hitler took over. All of his anti-Jewish laws were put into effect immediately. We were no longer considered citizens. Within a week, my father was fired from his job. Our bank account was frozen. We had no one to turn to. And then one morning, I woke up early. And outside my window, this man was singing a few lines from the Horst Wessel-Lied, which was the Nazi party anthem. It went like this. When Jewish blood flows from our knives,
everything will be well. There were people already walking on the street. Nobody said anything. That was the moment when I decided, that's enough. I'm out of here. And that very evening
I left. I knew what could happen to Jewish people like myself. I knew what was already happening, so I escaped through the Alps and I headed to America because I knew it wasn't going to stop.
Stunned by the sudden thrust of the Nazi drive into the North countries, troops rallied around loyal officers to defend their homeland. This scene was repeated in hundreds of Norwegian villages, even as the enemy moved in for the kill.
We are shocked by the almost incredible eyewitness stories that come to us. Stories of what is happening at this moment to the civilian population of Norway.
To my friend and colleague, Mr. Winston Churchill.
To sign the